Hi guys, hello Mary, meet everybody. It's Lumi. I finished it, and today we're going to try to make up for some of the mistakes, screw ups, and other things that have happened. Live show I did on Wednesday, and me and Michelle, as I said, we are working on our live stream schedule, and I know that Michelle has been trying really hard to come up with new content on her channel, and I'm not going to be talking about too much about her channel. But I just wanted to let you know that we're going to see if we can try to do a live show for me, and well, we right now Sunday's kind of up for debate. I did last one on a Sunday, and I said I wanted to try to do it a Sunday again, and Michelle said that's fine. Except the only problem is when you do it on a Sunday, is that means that it totally screws up the calendar. It's almost like Almighty Father Yahweh designed the schedule of 7 days in a week so that we could do technically 3 shows a piece. So right now you're getting extra showing for next week that I really, like she said, I would really like to see used for more exciting things like personal time. So we don't know if we're going to be staying on Sunday or not, but we will be Sunday this week, and that's what we're going to do. Now, tonight I'm going to be taking chat questions, and yeah, I might take some phone calls too. But let's be honest first of all, before we get started. On Wednesday, I want to apologize to the good audience, the ones that didn't do any harm, because they were the ones who kind of got kicked in the teeth unintentionally, along with those that were causing problems. And I think I owe you an apology. I don't want to do that unnecessarily, but for the last few shows, Michelle has had problems with people too, and I really kind of need a co-host, and I don't have anybody scheduled tonight. So I mean, if somebody comes on, that'd be fine. But I don't have anybody to cover at all. So this is going to be another Lumi and finished program. Now, a couple people on Michelle's channel said that we don't want to hear about Lumi's issues or Lumi's program on our channel. We want you to just focus on Michelle. Conversely, I have people on my channel that are saying the same thing: is we don't want to hear about Michelle. We want to hear about you. So, how are we supposed to do this? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Last night, Michelle took some time to talk about her background and ask the audience to ask questions, and I want to do the same thing. But I don't think I'm gonna get that many people in here. It's only one person. Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens on that. Now, I've been doing these shows now for just a short time. These live shows are not normally what I like to do. Excuse me. I prefer doing a show like a vlog or a beatcast, which is short and simple. I tried to do an apology beatcast. It came out okay. I wasn't really overall impressed with it. I'm still not quite sure about this wig here, because what's going on is if you look at it and you can get the hair, if you can get the hair laid back like this, it looks good. And if you get the piece, the one wisp that hangs down here, and it's like, forget it. It just looks crazily weird. Right now, it looks good. So I'm just counting my blessings here as we go through and recap and we actually got ready actually about 9 o'clock. So we've been wearing this week for 2 hours, and it's doing okay. But like, where is everybody? Michelle, did you announce the show anywhere? No, you didn't. I don't see an announcement. So I have to do some announcing myself, I guess. So let me do that real quick here. Let's talk about God. I guess the first thing we can talk about is why is it you like to have to to share a body with another person? Why not? Might as well talk about that, right? Well, first of all, it depends on the kind of person. There are other twin souls in the world. Every single one of them does things differently with their body mate. They don't all think the same way, and they're all very much the um, adjusting themselves to the circumstances around them. And so, yeah, it's different, but it's like I said, each partner comes up with their own agenda. Each person has their own way of working it out between each other. What do I mean? Oh, like for example, some people, like I know of a couple people of twin souls that are actually men. They're not a couple; they're just friends. They don't have the couple like they're not lesbian, they're not gay, they're just straight. But they work together and do things. In some of the cases, the one will act as the primary and then the other one just acts as like an advisory position. That's quite normal. Me and Michelle, however, have come up with another approach, which is extremely unusual. The fact is that we are both a lesbian couple. We are married to each other, and that's what we do. Um, we're very happily married to each other, and that throws a lot of people for a loop. Why would you be married to Michelle when Michelle could easily, seriously sweep a whole bunch of lesbian women off her feet? And why would she be willing to give up something as precious as being able to have an outside conquest, if you want to think of it that way? Well, because Michelle, in her own way, is very much deeply in love with me. We've been together now for a while, and oh yeah, okay. I'm just sending this out to different people. I'll have to send out to Christy in a little bit. Kirsty was the person that was doing my show or Michelle's show last week on Tuesday, and unfortunately, I don't have anybody. So I'm stuck doing this by myself. Where else should I post this? Oh, I know where. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna send this to Kirsty anyway. Yeah. I'm gonna send this to Kirsty out here. Maybe Kirsty. I don't know if she's gonna be up at midnight, but we'll find out. So right now it's 3 in the morning in the UK. Now some people kind of got angry about the fact is that Michelle's goes bend out of backwards for the UK time. Well, okay, Cold Kirsty's annoying, but really she's not a bad person, Bob. At least she's taking the time to help me and Michelle work on her content. And that's something that we need help with right now because I have no I'm actually a nervous wreck when it comes to these shows. Michelle has got it good, but Michelle keeps saying I got it in it. I really am not that good because it's a challenge to do the show and do it well, and it takes a lot of time to prepare in advance. So I don't see Kirsty as a bad person. She kept Michelle in pace on the Tuesday show. And Michelle had said that, well, maybe we will do Wednesday. I mean, on a Friday or sorry, Thursday. And of course, she didn't do Thursday, but she did Thursday night. And so, because she thought that Thursday afternoon was just a little bit too many layers of BS to deal with on top of everything else. And so we ended up basically going, okay, fine. You don't want to do Thursday? And she said, yeah, I really don't think Thursday morning or afternoon is really going to work for me. And so she said, I did better with the night shows because the summer's coming and it's going to get hot and no one's going to want to sit in here and cook in the middle of the daytime without running the air conditioner. And I'm not think Michelle's trying to save money. How you doing, Martin? Could you bless me subscribe? I guess you want me to go to your channel. I can go to your channel, I guess. Let me just go to your channel. Let me see if I can get this. Oh, gotta be careful if I do this right, because if I do this wrong, I'm gonna really fuck up everything. I would say, Martin, I will sign up to your channel, but I gotta be careful because if I'm doing this wrong, yeah, I don't know if I can get you on here right now. But I will try to sub to your channel after the program, because I don't really know how that works. If I jump into another channel when I'm on a live stream like this, if it's gonna mess up the computer, because I know that when we do it with the other streaming program, it doesn't make a damn difference. But this streamer is, oh, I hate this headpiece. Really, it's itchy. It's really, really, really hard to jump around and not screw up something big time. So tonight, like Michelle did last night, I want to take the time. Okay, let's do a video, nothing new here. Where she was allowed the audience to ask questions about her past. And my past, my history is so damn rich. I don't even know where to start. Well, let's start with the basics. Okay, the top. I was born in 1835 on February 11th. My family originally was from Stockholm, Sweden. Originally, then at 7 years old, my father moved the family to Kampi, in Finland, which is a like a suburb of Helsinki. Actually, it's part of Helsinki, but it's actually like a little region of Helsinki, kind of like New York. You got Manhattan, you got Brooklyn, you got Queens, you got the Bronx, kind of thing. My dad started a dry goods store there. His name was Herman. My mother's name was Helga. My mother really didn't do much with the family. I think I got the impression, I think she died when I was about 16. Then, of course, so I helped my father run the store. And then when I was 18 years old, I decided that I didn't want to work in the dry goods store anymore. And I didn't want the fact that my father was trying to prearrange a marriage to marry me into the local meat packer's son, because he wanted to get into the meat business. And he figured that sell off his eligible daughter to a meat packer, he can get into the processed meat industry. So I immediately left home and I started to work on different things, like working in the local inn nearby, washing dishes and bussing tables and things like that. It turns out Michelle did the same job about 170 years later in another place. So there's some crossovers between the two of us. Of course, back then we didn't have automatic washing machines. That Michelle also had experience washing dishes by hand too at a restaurant. So that was really an example where crossover was. He says, well, as being European myself, could I ask Lumi what she thinks of the difference in life in Europe versus North America? Well, it depends on which part of Europe, because Europe is a big place and there's a lot of regional things, just like in the United States. For example, Finland the people of Finland are very nice, but they're very, very, very private. They don't get into your affairs and you don't get in their affairs. They're reserved. They don't really get into the social stuff. In the UK, you got the pub scene, you got the alcohol. Same with France, and the food and the social and the plazas, and the Finnish don't do that. Same thing with the Italians; they're very much the outdoorsy type. I think those in the Southern European area are a very different structure than those in Northern European. I wonder if part of the reason has to do with the climate in both Finland and Michelle's family's from Norway and Italy, but mostly the Norwegian side and the Finnish side are very similar in this area. It's long winters. They're cold winters, and you're not going to have a huge group of people going out all the time. But yeah, here's the funny thing. Whereas the Norwegians love to ski. They ski, ski, ski. That's all they do. They love skiing. It's their thing. The winter sports. The Finns, we're not so much into the snow. Most of us, anyway. But we do love doing sauna. It's just fun because you like to sit in a big hot box and sweat your ass off for a little bit, and then you go out the door and there's a cold blast of cold air come running straight at you after you just came out of a steamy hot room. And then you can jump into a cold lake and to actually cool down instantly. It's sort of funny. Michelle tried that one time, and when she had access to a sauna, and she was like, "Holy crap, what the hell?" And she said, "This is a friggin' shock to my system." Oh my goodness, yes, it was. Okay. I also would like to ask if it's just me or is Lumi noticed that life in Europe seems to be more relaxed and people here seem to be more kind and social overall. Yeah, they tend to be. But here's the thing. The United States doesn't have the same type of work ethic that they do in the UK or any part of Europe. We don't have mandatory vacation leave in the United States. And they get paid vacations in Europe. So when you're mandated by EU law that you have to take a holiday regardless. So 2 weeks, sometimes I think I've seen in some places as long as 4 weeks out of a year, you have to have your holiday that is paid. So you can actually enjoy going to places like Euro Disney. You can go out there, enjoy going to the French Riviera if you live near France, or down to Spain. And enjoying the nice Mediterranean atmosphere. There's a concept in Norway called Syden. It's Syden. Finns have something similar where you go and enjoy the warmer areas of Southern Europe, but you also have in Finland traditionally a place called summer homes. People have summer homes. Well, basically that's where you can go, like a summer beach house, where you and your family spend together usually during the holiday time, when you spend a couple of weeks at the family of estate or beach home and you're having a good time. And that's what they do. It's not like in the United States where everybody's always planning on going on expensive trips. Most Finns, if they do not decide to go, will not necessarily go on long trips, but they rather will just stay with their family and go to the summer retreat. I think that's one of the positive things of the EU. Sorry. Martin says, not everything of the EU is bad. The organization does have some positives. I believe the EU will become better and stronger in the upcoming EU elections. Well, I'll tell you what. The first problem the UK, the EU, and this time right now is with Brexit. Okay, Michelle brings it up a lot. Okay. But the EU also is politically top-heavy. The current system is so top-heavy because you got a bunch of bureaucrats. They sit there pushing papers all over a desk, and they don't actually, and they're supposed to have representatives that represent the people. That's what the members of parliament are, the EU parliament. But the truth is that a lot of times they actually just go in there for the name, fame, fortune, just like they do, like the senators in the House of Representatives in the United States. And the next thing you know is they're not getting anything really done. To come up with laws, for example, like this Article 13 that really, really basically rains on a lot of people's parade. They originally tried to ban memes. I didn't know what a meme was until Michelle showed me a meme. And I'm like, really? You're telling me that where they take a piece of a picture of one person, a piece of a picture of another person, which is trying to show some kind of political statement or personal statement that they were trying to ban that. Why? I don't think you should be banning that. I mean, it's freedom of speech, but this is the thing: the people of the EU have no constitution that strictly says you got freedom of speech. It doesn't say it's against it, but the articles of the EU are very well. I don't know how to describe it. They're just messed up. Some are good, some are sucky. That's what I can say. For example, in Bulgaria, the GERB government was so focused on bringing EU to Bulgaria, while the BSP is more absorbed about bringing Bulgaria to the EU and representing Bulgarian rights in the EU. Well, let's put it this way: even if you can get into the EU Parliament, the one thing you're going to run into is so many other member countries are not necessarily going to support Bulgarians' approach of having self-governing role. It's not like in the United States where you have like the equivalent of the 13th Amendment. Saying basically is what is made for laws in the Bulgaria stays in Bulgaria. If you had that where each country was allowed to help regulate its own power, its own people, independent of the EU, I think it would be more like the United States. But they don't have that. So you got this strange little thing where the central EU body is trying to regulate everything from commerce, trade, to policies regarding copyrights and everything else. It's just not going to go well unless somebody, the acting president of the EU, finally says, "Hey guys, look, let's get this out of our let's respect individual nations' sovereignty here. If you're not going to have this, if you're not going to talk about things, if you're not going to respect, for example, Bulgaria or Greece or Italy." And you're going to say that you have to do it our way or it's the highway. Well, guess what? They're going to leave. They're not going to want to stay. That's why the UK wants to leave. Is because they're getting tired of the EU telling them how they're supposed to do their stuff. They're in own right to, for example, fish in their own waters. They want to be able to regulate their own commerce. It's lucky enough that the UK got to keep the pound. They actually could have lost the pound. And I think that would have sucked. And Michelle is very much pro-British. So if you think about Michelle is not going to sit there quietly while the EU basically stalls on Brexit, she's hopping mad because she's like, well, wait a minute. I want to go to the EU. I want to go to the UK. And I have to wait for this stupid ding-dang EU Brexit's done before I can even begin to go over there because it's a mess, even with a no-deal Brexit. And I'm like, okay, you're right. It's a problem. It's a real problem because you can't, as long as Brussels is telling all these countries how they're supposed to regulate everything. And I'm not talking about just between countries. I'm talking about within each country. Each country has to deal with what the EU Parliament says, which means is what the hell do you even have a country? Well, just call what it is. Basically, just a bunch of little serfdoms. Basically, just someone has an EU flag, throw away the Italian flag, throw away the Switzerland flag, throw away all the Greek flags, throw away everything. It has to do with individuality because that's what you basically created. It's even more worse and more restrictive than even in Connecticut. Connecticut, at least they have a state. Article 13, the 13th Amendment of the United States says, hey, you can make your own laws within your state. But there are some exceptions. But they says that, okay, Connecticut, you can do your own laws and we will respect your sovereignty. That was why it was created. But unfortunately, even there's places in the United States where the federal government says, nope, sorry, you can't have slavery. Nope, you can't, legalize marijuana. There was a memorandum that did allow them to do that easily. And yet, of course, they say, nope, you cannot even bother bringing marijuana seeds to another state, even if the next state over is also marijuana supporting because of the fact that it is going across state lines. And once you go anywhere near a state line, you are going into federal jurisdiction. And that's where the Federal Department of Justice is basically nabs you. Okay, I can tell you that in the EU, sure, it's nice that you once you have an EU citizenship, once you have an EU residency permit, you can go almost anywhere. But if you ever think about it, you got the same kind of thing here in the United States. But if you want to go from any country that's not in EU to the EU countries, you could have to deal with something similar with permits and visas. There's a few countries that are not in the EU, but they are in Europe, and I think Switzerland is one of those countries where you have. They're called European associate countries. They're not. They're sovereign countries, but they're not in the EU. What happened in Bulgaria, for example, is billions of EU funds were stolen and EU loaned because Bulgarian Prime Minister was comfortable for them and serve them. Please scroll up. Oh yeah, I know I do. Just give me a second. Yes, I can go up and just get me a second. All right. Let's see. Being of the self. Okay, I guess Finland is very different from Bulgaria. Unfortunately, one of the bad traits Romania and Bulgaria regions are known to be jealous and very social and nosy, and also much robberies. Romania is also has an interesting history with language, by the way. Originally, a lot of Romanian was using Cyrillic, but the language of Romania was very much like Latin. Bulgaria's language is definitely more like a Uralic type language, similar to Finnish in sense. Let's see here now. I think that's one of the positive things for us. Not everything in EU is bad. The organization does have some positives, and I believe the EU will become better and stronger in the upcoming EU election. Okay. And the other big problem is Eastern Europe gets less of a voice, and Western countries are listed to more. Elena, a Bulgarian Socialist Party politician, has termed Bulgaria the white slaves of Europe. Okay. And what happened to Bulgaria, for example, is billions of EU funds were stolen and allowed because they just got cut up on that. All right. So, okay, first of all, yeah, the EU, the 7 major countries of the EU are on the western part of Western Europe, and the other countries are not. Yes, Finland joined the EU. Let's make sure I got my years right on this. I think it was 1998. And it is the only northern country that is, other than Sweden, that is in the EU. Norway and Denmark, Sweden, and Finland are in the EU. Norway has said, no, I'm not going in there. So Norway is an independent. So that's one of the associate countries that I'm talking about. But the thing is that we also have, a lot of things that makes us very popular. And one of them, in fact, is that we are very much working with the EU and the currency, but we have very prosperous. I know our country's small, it has about 5 million people, but honestly, really, I think that's one of the things is that we are not quite one of the Romance language countries. For those of you who don't know, Finnish language is Proto-Uralic. It is actually similar in some ways to Hungarian and Bulgarian, and is not at all like Latin. It is not. There's very little Latin words in our language. Of course, we do have a lot of crossovers. I know there's a lot of Swedish in our language too because of the history, but there's also a lot of Russian words too because we were originally, for a while, we were under the control of the Tsar of Russia for a while. Long story. And at the time of the Winter War, which happened in 1914, I think it was actually after I died, 1916. We ended up getting our independence, and then in 1996, 1998, we ended up joining into the EU again. Why, I don't know. It's just a true fact. You always retract your message, huh? How many people are on here anyways? 3 of them and 1 like. All right, let's see. Let's not hog up the question screen for everybody. Let's see. Does anybody have any questions? I will try to answer them as fast as I can and in the timely manner as I can. They shut down the factories, the schools, the job. What do they expect? Well, yeah. It seems like your prime minister was not helping Bulgaria to improve its situation. From what I understand, is Bulgaria has a couple nice features that they could easily have made some big improvements in the economy. But it sounds like that your prime minister wasn't doing his job or her job and making things better for your country. But then, given the way EU is, and the fact is that the Western countries have so much dominance, it's not surprising. The EU kept their eyes shut as the Prime Minister of Bulgaria stole millions and committed genocide basically over the past 15 years. Billions of hospitals and schools were robbed and went bankrupt. Yeah, but you know what? Finland isn't exactly doing that bad, but I'm going to tell you something. We have our own issues because we're so deeply socialist. But Michelle is not. Michelle's a capitalist, which is a big difference. There are so many social programs in Finland, and now we have all these migrants coming in and they're flooding the country. And we tried to have the basic living income that Alexander Ocasio-Cortez keeps talking about. We tried it for 2 years, and that was a real bad idea. It did not work. No. It just totally fucked up everything for everybody because it was like free money to pay your bills. Oh yeah, free money to pay your bills, and then the poor Finnish government goes broke in the process. That's the problem with free money to pay your bills, is somebody's got to pay for it. The tax rate is ridiculous in Finland. Oh my God, yes. By the way, the only reason the Prime Minister rejected the migrants UN deal was because the BSP pressured him to, and he was scared that they would take to the streets. Well, yeah. Look what happened with Greece. Look what happened with Italy. Look what's happening in Germany. Germany basically right now is a mess. It doesn't even have mostly German people anymore. It's all migrants. It's all become Islamic. And I have nothing against the idea of migrants coming into a country, but if you kind of come into a country, you realize you need to begin to blend in with the local indigenous population. You can't act like an invasive species of people coming in and basically taking over the entire country because you think this country would be a good place to build a mosque after you bulldoze in a local Catholic church, for example, or Protestant church, whatever. This is not the way it works. You are the invaders. We don't want you here. Get out. If you either don't play by the game or you just get the fuck out. That's all you have to do. No one's going to sit there and want to listen to these migrants coming into this country and going, well, you want your country to be like our country we left. So why the fuck did you leave your country? Oh, I'm sorry. You want Germany to become like Pakistan and Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia and Syria? Why? Why do you have to do that to our countries? You got your own. Go back there. Go back there. You're robbing us blind. That's the thing that irritates me. How in the hell? I'm sitting there with Michelle. We're sitting reading these news articles, and she's going like, they'll never learn. And she's right. They will never learn because they don't care to. They're always so worried about we have to help these people. They're not helping you. They're not even trying to integrate into your culture. France is a mess. Germany's such a mess too. Italy, forget Italy. Greece, you're gone. Greece is a mess. It's broke. It's stupid. It's killing the economy of Europe. It's the same as in the United States now. United States are the Mexicans and the South Americans. They're coming in here by the tractor trailer truckload, and they can't figure what to do with them all. So even the Border Patrol people are throwing them out of their resettlement centers and saying, I have no beds for you. Go out there. Get out there into your America. Go out there. Find a place. I'll dump you in any sanctuary city you want. Well, that's not going to work. If the Muslims were forbidden from wearing... I don't know about other socialist country, but I know that during the rule of the BSP, Communist Bulgaria, there was no welfare, and intruders were shot at the border by the communists. Which, if you ask me, I got a feeling that's not going to be too far from happening again. Because the truth of the matter is just like a lot of people in the United States are feeling the same way. If you want to immigrate in here, you have to do so legally, and you have to be willing to mend and blend in with existing culture. If you can't blend in with the existing culture and you're demanding your own little communities and then telling all the other people, look at what's going on in Calais. Oh my God. You want to talk about shanty towns? Norway's flooded with immigrants. The problem is Norway's like, where are we going to put them all? Finland's the same way. Where are we going to put them all? That's like it's the problem. It's not working for them. Bulgaria still is better than a lot of people because they have a very strong opposition. Komelian and Nova is fighting, and the Prime Minister knows that if he tries anything dumb, she will show him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, his economy is, he's playing the system for money. He doesn't care about his own people, which makes it even worse. So he's going to end up being thrown out one way or another. He's either going to be indicted or he's just going to be thrown out, voted out. I don't know if the EU has any kind of impeachment procedures, but if they do, and if the right people in the EU Parliament realize what's going on, they're going to go, get him out, throw him out. He's not here. He's not even following the rules. Absolutely. He's got to, if he's not doing his job, he's got to go. It's the same thing here in the United States, too. It's like when you had Barack Obama here, he was like, oh, well, we're going to have open borders. We're going to be giving, this is what the Democrats are trying to do. The thing was, the Democrats have their competition, actually even within their own party, who see what the sanctuary cities are doing. And they're saying, I don't want to be part of this. I don't want to have my entire country totally fucked over by all these people that are coming in here and they're not even trying to integrate. All the EU knows they had documents for years. Goes to show you how much they really care. Well, it's going to change. That's one of the reasons why you said the elections are important. I think it's coming up. It's coming up on, I think, Memorial Day, isn't it? It's like 4 days, something like that. Yeah, it's coming up right now. I think it's Monday. The EU were bystanders and didn't care the Bulgarian Prime Minister was stealing money from their countries. Well, I'm sure that they would probably had their own little money game going too in different countries that they were part of. Members of the parliament are over in Europe are just kind of like just slippery people. It's just like the senators in the United States are, especially they get in power long enough and absolute power will screw you up every time. It's the same here. It's power, 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 power. It's all power, and it is hurting everybody. So obviously, the EU needs to seriously revise its operating procedures. Oh, I'm sure this going on in other countries too. Oh yeah, you count on it. For example, here's the thing that made me angry when I heard about the austerity process of countries like Greece and Italy, when the EU is telling them how they were supposed to pay their bills. First of all, if the countries were allowed to make their own budgets and were allowed to live by their own rules and their own policies, I think they would have been a lot better off. Period. That's the fact that's gonna go on. But some of it is just corruption issue. It's a safety issue. When Elena has proven the Bulgarian border with Turkey has to build extra cheap, and highways were built cheap to save money. Tell me any place in the world where somebody isn't trying to save money by building cheapy shit. We see it even in the United States. There's a thing called bidding. Basically, what they do is the company that has the lowest price bid gets the contracts. And then they wonder why they sometimes have cost overruns, or that the road that they built is a piece of crap. So they stole the money and in return made life dangerous for their own people. LOL. In Bulgaria, one day the prime minister bragged about building a new bridge. Next day it collapsed. Yeah, well, there you go. There was a couple of construction projects in the United States that were going to built like that. City Field in New York City. From the minute it opened its doors, it had nothing but construction issues, repair problems, and it was just. Now I got to spend even more money to fix what should have never been broken in the beginning because they went for the cheapest contractor. Oh yeah, speaking of bidding in Bulgaria, there is none. In Bulgaria, the companies closest to the politicians or family friends usually gets. Oh yeah, kickbacks. Oh yes, we get that here in the United States too. 100%, 100%. It's not new. It is not new. Promise you that. Let's see. But I want to see if I can get other people to ask questions right now because we only got 2 people. I guess for a late night show, I guess that's okay. But I really kind of want to see if I can get more people on here. My channel, unfortunately, has suffered a issue of, well, how do I put it this way? There's a group of people that are interested in my channel, but they're all in the European theater, and there's not too many Americans that are following the show. So those Americans that are not following the show, of course, are probably going to be seeing the show right now because they're the only ones that's awake, such as the West Coast, East Coast, Mountain, and Central Time Zones. And that's kind of screwing it up for everybody else. The Bulgarian Prime Minister was good friends with Obama, and Obama seemed to like him, by the way. Oh, I'm not surprised. Why am I not surprised? Of course, Obama himself was crooked. I hate to say that, but Barack Obama was crooked. Okay, let me see if I can actually sub to your channel right now. Let me go to your channel. I'm going to subscribe to it on my phone here because that's working. Okay. And Michelle said to me to tell you, please do make sure to not keep deleting your channel like you usually do. She says that nothing more irritating than when you keep throwing your channel in the garbage can, because then everybody can't watch the content. So if you keep your channel around, they'll do fine. If you keep throwing your channel away, well, that's going to suck. Okay, what's my live stream reminder? Yeah. All right. So let's go back to your questions here. I did subtiers now. Also, Bulgaria has less media freedom than the African countries now that it was once better than France. BXP actually started their own TV network this year known as Free Bulgaria Television. Um, yeah. And then, of course, the Bulgarian prime minister was good friends with Obama. Okay, so the thing is the EU is going to have to be really seriously changed. The articles of the EU are going to have to be rewritten. There's going to have to be new safeguards put into in changes in the EU constitution specifically to make sure that this kind of baloney doesn't continue. And if they don't do that, and I don't know how hard it's going to be to get the EU to rewrite the constitution of the country, but if they do, if they finally do write the constitution, if they finally do get things straightened out, that'd be great. But I don't know how it's going to be done because there are always going to be main 7 original members of the EU. They're going to be like, which used to be the League of Nations. They're going to be like, oh, hell no, we're not changing this. This works for us. Yeah, it works for you. But why is one of your members leaving and he executes Article 50? But then Theresa May's own UK government goes, yeah, I don't know if you want to leave or not. What do you mean you don't know if you want to leave or not? Huge population on the 26th of August 2016 said, let's get out. And you're now arguing that you really don't think that the own people know what they wanted? They told you what they wanted. I don't know if Bulgaria is going to have similar problems or not, because the problem is that there's a lot of money changing hands, and that's just it. They're concerned about money or making more of it. It says, I agree with you. There's changes needed. Otherwise, the countries will leave and Europe will fall apart. I'm going to allow that. Or can we fix Europe and remain united? Honestly, I think the countries with common values should fight against the greater powers. Okay, well, that would probably be most of the Eastern countries, I would think, would be the ones that would predominantly be better knowledge of fighting because they have much to lose because they're not part of the Western Bank of countries, which was the EU, was the founding core factors. Because it turns out that the Western European countries are like, we're the top, we're the ones who started it all. You're just kind of leftovers that came later. You're the stragglers. You're just the little peons. But there's no any kind of articles in the Constitution that says that we have to treat you equally, and that's what's going on. And I do know that it's Russia. They tried to screw Russia over. Russia is a big block of the EU, but Russia has a large provider of the Europeans' natural gas, and so these countries are like, oh, Russia, we're putting sanctions on you. Fuck you. We don't want your money. We don't want your oil. We don't want your gas. How you should do? Because if you don't get their gas, you're going to freeze your asses off, especially in the northern European countries in the wintertime. Honestly, I think that the countries with common value. Okay, you said that here. Could you purposely search up Elaine Youngsif and do a facial reading? Oh God. Let's see. I know you asked Michelle that, and Michelle kind of went. Let's see. I have to look this thing up on my phone. That never works. So don't type anything. I gotta see if I can cut that name out. Elena. Okay. Copy. Okay. Let me go to another window. For those of you who don't know, I long ago said I am not Michelle. Michelle is not me. Okay, we're very different, as you can see. And we happen to be thinking of completely different things. people have said to me is, Lumi, you got a bit of coverage of the show that Michelle does. Michelle tends to have this kind of, okay. I did find the picture. Wikipedia. Okay, so what we have here is a very cocksure looking blonde that thinks that she has control of everything. I don't see her as being necessarily very friendly. I don't see her being very generous and kind. I see just more like I am basically in it for money, and I'm just in it for business. She's okay. So that's what this says here. It says here that she's a born on 27 May 1960. She's a Bulgarian freelance journalist and former Bulgarian national television correspondent who has reported from the conflict. So she's been in the conflicts. Facebook, unless you gave me the wrong typo, it says that she's a journalist. Oh, okay. Here we go. This is the same person. Bulgarian Socialist Member of Parliament Elena Voncheva has changed the charge. I'm sorry, she's been charged for the crime. Yeah, I got the impression from looking at her face that she's not very nice. I don't know how to describe it other than that. I don't want to get sued. Just saying is that I don't think I see her as being very comforting, if it makes any sense. No, where's the stupid cursor here? There it is. So, well, she needs to be tough. If she just looks tough, then yeah, it's her. Yeah, she looks tough. The problem is oh my God. I know you asked Michelle. Michelle kind of brushed it off. And the reason Michelle brushed it off at the time was because everybody else was on the show and it was just jumping. Right now it's quiet. So it's not like I have to really worry about that so much. I got 3 people on here. It says, she is nice. I think she's just tough. Yeah, well, I think so too, but I don't know anything about her. You asked me to give you a face reading, not to go ahead and read the whole article on her. So she was a journalist. She was a person that was in the media circuit. So she knows what's going on. Obviously, she seemed like a good person on the inside, though. I think she just has a tough skin, kind of like you. Okay. Which most people don't realize that I'm not really a bad person. Very protective of Michelle. I want to keep her safe from harm. I want to keep her safe from people that want to destroy her. So like I did on the last show on Wednesday, I kind of went a little bit overboard, and I think that upset a lot of people. And that's just what happened. So somebody said Lumi would make a great biker chick. Well, probably would, except obviously I'm not a biker. Of course, when I was living in Finland, we didn't have motorcycles. We had horses and carriages. So I would be one of the people that would be riding a horse downtown and stuff like that. I didn't get into too many carriages. I did ride carriages, of course, but I was pretty handy with a horse. So let's see here. She seems like a good person. As you said, just with that. Okay. We got 4 people on here, and I want to see, with any of the 4 people want to jump in? Let's see. I think Bob Doug was on earlier. Who's on here now? Anybody on here besides Martin? We got 4 people watching. We'll have to see what happens. I think it makes a bold woman like her to fight the EU. She seems really tough. Yeah, I got that impression. Yeah. And she's going to have to deal with some pretty tough people because they're not. Some of these people have gotten well to do with the money that they have gotten from being in power. And when you get that kind of power, you're going to have some pretty big problems because that's just the nature of the way it is over in any country, United States included. Money talks, and money talks loudly. And money is always the driving forces for all these countries. enough of this topic. Okay, I read astral projection today. I almost felt it. I tried astral projection today. I almost felt it. Oh, okay, yeah. Where were you trying to go to? Anybody? Any place in particular? Because it takes time to really kind of get in the zone with astral projection. Um, but it can be done. It's just that it takes a while because you have to always leave a little piece of you behind when you do astral travel. Because um, if you don't have a piece of you behind the mind of star, well, somebody else is going to come in and they're going to potentially take your body, namely a negative entity like a demon, which will look for a body to destroy. That's what they do. And then next thing you know, you're going to come home and you're going to find the locks are changed, just the equivalent of that, and you're not going to be welcoming back into your body again. And then you're going to be totally homeless of the worst kind. Um, well, maybe steps, I guess, having my body for. Yeah, well, why don't we try something a little bit less frightening for newcomers? Is why don't you try astral vision, astral seeing, visualizing a place. And, like, say, for example, like you mentioned Bulgaria, visualizing Bulgaria, visualize the people in Bulgaria, the family, the friends, the communities, but not actually try to send yourself there, but just rather to see if you can visualize what's going on. It's so much a remote viewing. At least in that case, you're not actually leaving your body, but rather you are just trying to remote view. This is again where your spirit guide can come in, because your spirit guide, which you really will need to work with, trust me, your spirit guide is going to be the one person that is going to help you mind the store. So when you're traveling, you're going to always be able to have somebody making sure that your body is safe. But if you do it wrong, what's going to happen is like I said, you're going to come back home, and guess what? The locks have been changed. Someone else has changed your address and said, "This is my house now," and then you're screwed. So be careful. That's all I can tell you. Let's see. I did feel the shaking today, like never before. Like I was in my body, leave it just a tiny bit. Yes, that's the other thing. How do we contact our spirit guides? Well, prayer is one way. You know how to do that. As a Catholic, you know how to pray. And you could just basically ask Jesus, if you prefer to work with Jesus, and say, "Jesus, listen, I want to try to do some astral travel. I need to know how to do this rightly and to do it safely and not potentially get taken over by a negative entity. I need some loving, I need some protection, I need some mental strength to help me I need to find my spirit guide, whoever he or she is. Please, I ask you, Lord Jesus, to please help me to find my spirit guide." Your spirit guide can contact you a variety of ways. They don't just contact you by words. It's not like they're going to just jump up onto the closet and go, "Hi, Martin. Hey, this is me." Whatever your spirit guide's name is. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes the spirit guide may be very subtle. It might be, you might see a shadow. You might hear a voice. You might smell something that you never smelled before. More than likely something nice. Usually if you smell something awful, it's usually not your spirit guide. But that is definitely a good clue. It's not. You will sense possibly that somebody's there that seems to be benevolent. Obviously, if you sense some malevolence, I would definitely be very careful, because that it means that negative entities are also watching, and they're probably going to look for the next potential way to take you on. But you can tell, because you will sense them in your spiritual eye. You'll sense them. And depending on the spirit guide, they will use whatever easiest way to keep reaching out to you. And so what you need to do is keep in contact with Christ. for the time being, and just keep in contact with Christ. Let Jesus know what you want to do. Jesus is not going to screw you up. Jesus is going to talk to you. Jesus cares about you. And here's what you need to do is make sure you keep your eyes on Christ. And focus, and realize that you got to first of all find your spirit guide. That's the best thing to do. I would not recommend doing astral travel without knowing if your spirit guide is around, or at least Christ is around, because that basically is like walking out of your house with the door wide open with the keys in the lock. Not good. You don't want to do that. No. Definitely not. Could you ask the divine ones? It's your decision to ask. You need to make the call. I can't do it for you. And I know that sucks, but the truth is you need to ask the divine ones. You can ask Father God. You can ask Mother God. It doesn't matter. You can ask Jesus. You can. It's definitely. I would talk to Father and Mother God. Definitely have the most clout. Jesus is more of a representative. He's kind of like your EU Prime Minister in a sense. He's kind of the. He died on the cross for your sins, but when it comes to really getting straight to the source, Mother God, it says many names, Mary, Sophia, and a few other names. She is Asna is her native name. She is the one that's going to be there to help you. So you could always ask for Mother Asna or even Mother Mary. She accepts both names, and just say, look, Mom, hey, here's the key word, Mom, because she's your mother in heaven, and say, look, I've got a question. I want to do some astral travel. I talked to Lumi, Finistra, I've talked to Michelle about it, and they both kind of said the same thing, that I need to find somebody to help me do astral travel. I need to find my spirit guide. I need to find a way to reach my spirit guide. And I need to know what my spirit guide can show me, and how she can protect, he or she, because it could be a boy too, could keep me safe. And that's the important thing, because your spirit guide does not necessarily have to be female. It doesn't have to be male. It could be either one. But the most important thing is, be careful if you do astral travel without the foundation of having your spirit guide or Mother and Father God on hand. If you do, and you get taken over, there's not really too many easy ways to get back your body. It's pretty much a done deal. So you have to be careful for that reason. It's not funny. It's not. There are definitely examples of this where demonic possessions have come in because people have done just that. They didn't know the system. They didn't know what they were doing. And then they got possessed by demons. And then they try to come back into their own body. And of course, the demons fight them. And then, of course, they lose. That's a serious issue right there. Let's see. I wasn't talking about me. I was pertaining to the text about, okay. I wasn't talking about me. I was pertaining to the text. Okay, in a comment a bit. All right, stop for a minute. Could you possibly do a spirit reading on Elena? Does she really seem evil? I got the very good sense about her. And Baba Vanga predicted a woman of blonde hair would save. Well, all right. Well, first of all, I didn't even read the whole article. So, I don't even have all the background here to really. So, let me think. All right, where are you, Aleda? Huh? Come on, where are you? I know I'm pointing in the wrong direction. Because Bulgaria is southeast. So I'm going to have to flip this way so I can see. Well, I'm getting an English translation of some of her speeches. Right now, I just tell you that she is definitely speaking up about the atrocities and the wrongs that were done in Bulgaria, and that she's trying to figure out how she can get the EU to change, especially now the elections are coming up. And I sense that she has her concerns. I think it sounds to me like she's got a lot of supporters. People who look at her knowledge and her skills, and yeah, I think it's my opinion based on what I've picked up. It's pretty faint, but I'm gonna pick it up and think what it is. It says that she's got an uphill battle on her side. She's gonna have to really, really work hard if she wants to overcome the corruption. I can tell you that. You can contact Mother Asna the same way Skynet did. You talk to Father Yahweh. Prayer is the easiest way. If you're Catholic, you could use the traditional Catholic prayers, which works fine. Or you can make a spontaneous prayer, like something like you're talking to your mom and say, "Hey, Mom, look, Mother God, you don't have to be formal. Just say, look, hi, my name is Skynet. I have some questions I need answers with, or I want to know. I want to let you know how I feel about what you've done and when you gave birth to the baby Jesus when you were on Earth as Mary, and how important you are to me." If that's what you want to say, it's up to you. She doesn't have a strict, rigid. She's not so rigid that she can't talk to you as an everyday person. And she will reach out to you, but you may have to be listening for her. She's not always going to use words, because she finds other ways to reach out to you. One of the most powerful things you can do, of course, is to say, if you're getting started, just use the standard textbook prayers. Like Hail Mary comes to mind. It's a good one. It's formalized, but it's a good start. If you never really talked to Mary, which is also she's known as Mary, it's a good start. Even if you're not a Catholic, anybody can say it. Anybody can. And it goes simply as it says in English: "Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now at the hour of our death." And then, of course, if you want to create your own, you could say something like, "Hail, Holy Mary of Heaven, my name is Skynet. I come to you today as a human being, asking for your guidance and your support in my life and my questions I have for you. I ask that you'll give me strength in my day, and I ask that you'll help me to understand the answers to the questions that I have and give your questions. Explain them very simple. Don't have to get too complicated. And listen for the answer. It may not come right away, but you will sometimes sense Mary's presence or Mother Asna's presence. You'll sense it. It's the same person. You'll sense it. And the most important thing is, do not be afraid. She's always been there. She's always been the loving one. Mary / Asna has been involved in the human world since the creation of Adam and Eve. For it says, let us, in the first book of Genesis, let us create man in our own image. Why does it say, let us? Who is the us? Why, it's Father God and Mother God, of course. The two created man originally, and male and female, he. Why did it change from them to he in the English translation? When it said, because I think they wanted to throw Mary out of the Parthenon of monotheism. But they really should have said, and male and female, they created them. Because otherwise, how would God know about male and female if he wasn't a male or female? Of course, some say God is unisex. God doesn't have a sex. Some say God is hermaphrodite. Some say a lot of things about God. Some say God is just basically a will-o-wisp fantasy. I don't think that, but I mean, I know Michelle strongly very devoted to Mother God, and so am I. And we have seen so many great things happen because of our love of Mother and Father God. We've seen great opportunities come to us that to us have been fantastic. But some people may think we're kind of banal and boring, but that's just because for me and Michelle, being close to Father and Mother God is literally is kissing the Godhead. You are literally kissing the Godhead. If you work with Mother God and Father God directly, and me and Michelle, of course, have been blessed because when I joined Michelle's body, I actually was her spirit guide for all those years. Okay. So we're talking from 1972 to 2010. So you can do the math. It's quite a while. And let's see, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. So she was about 43 years old. And then as part of our life chart, it was agreed that I would be joined with Michelle, and if Michelle took me in, and Michelle said yes. So that was agreed on before she even came here, that this body would be for two. Can you mix Catholic prayers with pagan? Absolutely. Absolutely. You can mix Catholic, pagan, and prayers together. After all, a lot of the Catholic teachings have a lot of pagan parts to them. So yes, you can mix prayers together. It's not so much the act of the prayer is the key. It's the fact is what you're asking for. Thank you very much so much, says Merton. Also says, I like to mix formal prayers with informal. Well, that's fine. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. Skynet says, a mother Asna messaged me on Discord and asked me to call her. I don't know how you call her, except to basically pray. I told you she would actually talk on Facebook, on Discord, or any social media outlet. Do you still read Sylvia Brown? We don't have any Sylvia Brown books, but no, we haven't read anything recently from her. Should I call her? Well, it's up to you. But Mother God usually contacts you through the spiritual means, not through technological means. Could you talk to Asna for me in terms of my spirit guide? Would I appreciate? No. You have to do that. You have to do that. I can't do it for you. This is you and your needs. Honestly, I hate to say it that way, but it's true. You have to contact your spirit guide. I know it's scary, but it's your mission. You have to do it. I can't do it for you. So you need to make the effort to get in contact with her, and it's really easy to do. It's really easy to do. I mean, when you go to bed tonight, when you do your prayers, you just pray. It's the easiest way. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to sacrifice an animal or anything. Just talk to Mother God like you would talk to your friend. Just visualize when you do your prayer that you're talking to Mother God on your cell phone, if that's what helps you. After all, and for the way, isn't a rosary kind of like a way that we use to help keep track of the Hail Mary and Glory Bees and Our Fathers? Yes, it is. So if you want to pretend, I mean, it sounds stupid, but the hell, I'll throw it out here anyway. Let's say, for example, you have a cell phone. Okay? Why not, right? Just use it like a cell phone. Just pretend you're looking at it like you're using Google Hangouts and just say, hey, Mom, if it helps you to visualize it, you don't have to actually call anybody. Just look at the screen. If you want to see the screen when you call, just turn on the camera. And then at least you'll feel like you're talking to somebody and just say, hey, Mom, look, I have questions. Lumi said I should find a way, the most comfortable way to feel like I'm talking to you. And could you just the first name as so I know who to talk to? What do you mean? The first name? You mean Mother God? You can call her Mother. You can call her Mom. You can call her Asna. You can call her, Mary. You can call her Sophia. It doesn't matter. Just call her. You can even, like I said, Mom is the most informal one. She doesn't get picky about that. She's not going to slap you across the face because you called her Mom. She's not. She's not like that. Where she's going to say is, "How dare you use such a common address on me?" No, that's not the way she works. Trust me. The most important thing is you got to be sincere. When you make that call, the Mother God, you say, "Hey, Mom," talk to her like you would talk to your mom. I don't know how your mom is, but my mom was actually pretty sweet before she died at 16. 16. You just basically gotta just be honest and just say, Mom, look, I have questions, and just tell them the questions. And here's the thing: some people don't do is you have to stop and listen. That's the thing that screws a lot of people. Everybody ends up making like a one-way text message, right? It's like a letter to Santa Claus. I know it sounds like a stupid example. I'll throw it out anyway, right? Dear Santa, I've been a very good boy this year. I want a fire truck, and I want some dinosaurs, and I want a box of Legos. P.S. My sister's a brat. You don't have to do that. Just be honest and say, "Hi, Mom. Look, my name is Martin. I've been talking to Lumi. Lumi said to contact you because I want to do some astral travel, and I don't know how. And I'm really trying to find my spirit guide because Lumi and Michelle have both said I got to find my spirit guide first." You have powers to ask, don't you? I have powers to ask, yes, but not during the show. I'm not going to do it during the show. When we go to bed tonight, we can ask. But yes. I have another important question I'd like answers to. A lot of people in my apartment building are dying, especially of cancer. 2 kids in my building died of cancer. As we all see, they have a shadow person in the hallway. Once I would like to know. I would like to know if it's possible the landlords are using black magic. Well, probably not, but because after all, landlords don't necessarily want to dump their tenants. But here's the question I would ask is, it might be an environmental issue. How old is the building? Is there asbestos? Asbestos or toxic chemicals, which may not necessarily be black magic, but because of the chemicals such as carpeting can affect the respiratory system and the health of people, and the air quality in the building can also be impacting your health too. I would definitely find out if there's something in the building. Why are the people dying of cancer? But cancer is so many kinds of cancer. Is there something in maybe the carpet? Is there something in the water system? Is there possibly asbestos particles in the atmosphere that are being inhaled from asbestos and pipes that have kind of broken down? This is a good question. Our building was built in 1975. Then maybe, but how would we know? Well, it's more than likely. Probably the one way to do is to find out is to have an air and water test done to determine. That's going to cost money. But again, you need to know something about what kinds of cancer the people are dying of, because there's so many different cancers and there's so many possible causes of that cancer. Now, no one really knows. If you don't know what's causing it, it's very difficult to treat it. Okay? For example, if the person's having mesothelioma, it definitely indicates that there's asbestos particles. If there's issues like lead poisoning, in 1975, they were using lead solder in pipes. And so, you could find that there's lead poisoning, which stays in the system for life. It doesn't go away. It's a heavy metal. There may be other heavy metals too, like cadmium, possibly with mercury. These are things that you need to know. But what you can do, as I said, you can do some testing, but it's not going to be free. It's very creepy because a lot of people are getting cancer. One kid died. Neighbors, both of his parents died. Maybe or should contact the yes, yeah, definitely would do that. Yeah, have them come in and do a test of the building. Make sure that there's nothing carcinogenic that they may be getting exposed to. Like I mentioned, asbestos. Asbestos is the fibers of asbestos, especially like the powdery asbestos that used to be used in heating systems. Those little particles of asbestos, those little fibers, once they come loose, they can be spread really quickly through heating and ventilation and air conditioning systems. So I definitely would contact the building and department and the health department and ask them to do a test to see if the building has any of those issues. And I gotta tell you, getting things is expensive. Yeah. All right. It's 12:21, and let me see if I get any messages over here in my Discord or in my Hangouts. Because for the show, I didn't even look at the. Let's see. Don't see anything new here on this one. Nothing here. Nothing here. All right. So let's take a few phone calls. But the only thing is, I don't think there's anybody here really to call. I think today was one of the few shows that we did that was a little bit too late, I think, for a lot of people. So unfortunately, a lot of people didn't really get a chance to partake of the show. And I don't know how often we're going to be doing a night show. Tomorrow, Michelle will be doing a show on her channel. And then I did say I originally wanted Sunday, but given I don't know if there's enough demand for a Sunday show, we're not sure. It's still up in the air with the scheduling. So let's just say that I think we can get ready to kind of wrap this up for tonight. But I do thank you, Martin, for being part, and Skynet for being part. And for now, everybody that did watch this in the reruns, please do leave comments below what kind of topics you want to discuss. We'll try to get them in. And I want to definitely get on a Monday show. So if you definitely want to cover something for Monday, if you are of the European audience and you want to be part of the Wednesday show, that's going to be at 1 o'clock Eastern time at 6 p.m. UK time. So you can definitely catch the show at that point. So let's see. Last comment I'll read before I wrap it up. He says, hey, we don't want to move more to die before anyone can do anything. Well, you can't change that. I mean, it's not going to happen. It's building departments take a while to get things done. A kid died, for God's sake. She was just 12, I think. It was normal for kids to be getting brain tumors. It was more than just one in this building alone. Could you let me know info from your channeling on Skype, like possibility, spirit guides, gender, or now I have to tell you again, like I said, you, not me, you need to do that. Okay? I know that sounds like this is kind of like a DIY thing. This is where you, Martin, have to go ahead and make the initial phone call to Mother God and to your spirit guide. Okay? I can't do it for you. I really can't. If you don't do it yourself, then I would be wasting my time. But if you do it, we can do something. Okay. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps that up. But for anybody who wants to know about spirit guides and things like that, we can certainly cover that in the comment section. And if you have not watched the other videos in the past, the ones I've done, when I was wearing Michelle's hair. Yeah, I know that's confusing as hell. I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way it worked out. Please do watch the videos. We talked all about this. And yeah, by the way, one more thing. The hair takes a while to put on. It takes me a little while. Not super long, but it takes me a little while. And so because it takes me a little while, I'm kind of hesitant of doing vlogs without the hair because I don't want to change that and get people to think I'm really Michelle and all that because I'm not. So let's just make it easy for everybody. Okay, I will do my best, but what type of answer should I look for? Well, that's just it. Mother, your spirit guide or Mother Asna are going to contact you in the way that is best for you. Now, everybody's different. So, but you got to be observant. And that's the thing that slows a lot of people down in this day and age. They're so used to going, oh, I didn't get an answer, but all of a sudden I'm smelling these strange smell of flowers. Like Little Flower talked about flowers a lot. And she talked about roses and Mother God and roses. You might notice that. It may sound like, okay, great, I smell roses. Okay, well, what is that going to do for an answer? But the point is when if you smell something that's sweet and or feel a sense of comfort and happiness or joy in your heart, and when you might even see potentially a ghost image, like we see, like when they're Marian apparitions. There's your answer. But your Mother God is going to reach you in the way that works best for you. No two people are going to talk the same way. Sorry, Michelle's not here, Skynet. Yes, there was a lot of roses in Medjugorje, apparently. Yes. It could be like a smell, yes. Okay. All right. Oh, on Monday it would be me. It wouldn't be Michelle. Michelle wouldn't be here Monday, except maybe in the vlog. She tends to be doing more vlogs. Her next live stream, for those of you who don't know, will be on Sunday at 11 o'clock at night. And my next live stream was actually my next line. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. I got me and Michelle was on the schedule. We both get our heads mixed up. Tomorrow, Michelle will be on her show at 11 o'clock. And then I was going to do a Sunday show possibly, because I did a Sunday show last week and it really was really well. I had a lot of people. And then I'm going to do a Monday one. And then Michelle will be doing Tuesday, Thursday. And on Tuesday, she will be doing a late night and she'll be doing a 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then on Thursday, she'll be doing a 11 o'clock at night. And of course, Saturday, she will be doing an 11 o'clock at night. So it's in as long as the 2 p.m. show. So it's just a lot of confusing schedules. All right. So Lavender is also one. What's Michelle up to right now? She's sitting in the back room watching the show on a monitor, so to speak. She's actually, we take turns, we swap places. So on Michelle's show, she is the one that's the active one, and I'm the one who's passive, because that's what so many people seem to want. On this show, we swap places, and I'm the one who's the active one, and Michelle's the passive one. And sometimes Michelle will give me instructions in the background. And like, for example, the questions of Merton sent, she would just give me little notes and saying, okay, tell him this because he needs to know this. So that's what I've been doing. It's easier that way. Funny. Okay, the last one says here, that's the thing I wanted to ask. Is lavender a good perfume and can it be used as a yes. Lavender is used in aromatherapy, is a scent to help. It's very calming. It's very soothing. And yes, it can be used in candles. And yes, it can be used as a perfume that is quite often considered more for women, but I don't think it's really sex specific. It definitely is not a musk. If you're looking for a musky scent like sandalwood or something, there are definitely, if you're concerned about being close, being judged because you want to use lavender or other things, there are other scents you can use, other scented oils. So lavender is just one of them. All right. I heard in some places it's actually more common to men's perfume because it stops sweat. I don't know anything about that, but when Michelle, here's another thing for those of you who wanted to know. When I'm in control of Michelle's body, the chemistry changes enough that it's very acidic. And so when I'm in charge, we have to use baking soda to neutralize it. When Michelle's in charge, her pH is very sweet. And which is fine because she doesn't stink too bad. But if she to get rid of any kind of smell, she has to use white vinegar to break down the sweat. So you get a situation where you got two souls and they do result in different physiological chemical changes in the body. And that's confusing enough, but it's true. Michelle, for example, can never look at you straight on with the camera because every time she tries, it's like she can't see the screen. I can kind of see the screen. I can't really see much out of the side anymore, but I tend to have my eyes both open more than Michelle does. Michelle's kind of like almost like she's in a partially meditative state, which that's what she's doing, especially with the phones. She does the same thing. She goes into a meditative state where I tend to be more awake and alert during the show. So let's see. I read online that confident men wear lavender. Okay. All right. For right now, given the fact this is 12:31 and we have basically 3 people watching and we only got one person doing all the talking, which kind of sucks because I'm looking at a few other people will come in. I know Skynet's here. All right, so let's go back and look at okay. So everybody to schedule. I got mixed up a few times in the process. But for right now, for the immediate near future Skynet, here's the ones you need to know for this weekend. I'm on tonight. Michelle's on tomorrow. Okay. They're both at 11 o'clock. Michelle also has an earlier show, and she went back to 2 o'clock for Saturday. Okay. And so now, does she have a co-host? I don't know. I don't know if she's got a co-host or not. Rachella said that if she can make it tomorrow, she's going to help Michelle with her show. Tomorrow night at 11 o'clock. I really was hoping I was going to get some helpers too, but obviously that didn't work out. Yeah, she will, because we're going to be watching the replay after the show, because that's when we critique it and look at it and see what we should change or improve on it. And so yes, she will sub. I know Michelle, she'll sub once we watch the replay, because I already subbed, she'll sub. But there's the thing, as Michelle told me, she said, "Please, Martin, stop erasing your channel all the time. Leave the articles up there you post so that we can go back and read them. Because if you keep erasing your content, you're never going to grow. Period. Okay? You need to keep those channels on the air. You need to keep your videos up. You need to keep creating new content. Okay? Because if you do this, and I mean this, because from experience, that's what I was doing. I wasn't doing anything, and the channel is just going on the shitter. If you create new stuff, you're going to get viewers. And you got to keep being creative and finding new ways to reach out to them. Point blank range. That's the most important thing you got to do. Okay. So I think for right now, I think it's time to wrap it up. I really do. It's getting kind of late. So for now, don't forget, Michelle will be on tomorrow during both the 2 o'clock Eastern and the 11 o'clock Eastern at night show. I will be back on Sunday. Maybe. Depends on how many people show up. Because like right now, there was like no one here. So like, it makes this up. But if obviously more people show up, please do share this channel with your friends. Subscribe if you have not already done so. And if you are seriously interested in the content, I'd love to have you around. I'd love to answer your questions as best I can. But as we get started more busier, we're going to start to have to kind of cut them shorter. But the question shorter, but that's something else for later. For now, I want to thank you guys for being here. Do me a favor. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on Sunday. More than likely. Bye-bye.